Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a great brush review for you. So if you're interested to know of some cheaper brushes of MAC dupes, stay tuned. Okay, the company that I want to bring to your attention is called C.P.C. Cosmetics. They do have a website in which I contacted the company because I was interested in their brush line. I'm interested in getting out any information that's going to save us some money on some brushes. And of course, I had to be fair with the review. I'm going to give you pros and cons of C.P.C. brushes. I was sent 8 brushes that I want to review with you. A few of them are eye brushes and a few of them are face brushes, so I wanted to do a good, honest comparison. I've worked with these brushes over the past month or so I can give you an honest, genuine opinion of what I feel the quality is like. Now, let's talk about pros of the company C.P.C. First of all, the brushes come with a pamphlet that has all of the brushes listed inside. If you're not sure of what a particular brush would do, or other than, you know, checking out YouTube videos, they provide you with a nice pamphlet to tell you exactly what all the brushes do. So I thought that was an awesome touch. As far as what they look like, in all honesty, they look like MAC brushes. The only difference is, of course, this is not a MAC brush. They have C.P.C. on there. They have their company name here on the side. Some of my other pros for this company. I like how they mimic the look of a MAC brush 100%. The way that it looks like the MAC brushes, as far as like the brush handle and the furrow and things like that. I'm not sure if I'm saying that word correctly, but I like how they mimic the whole makeup of the brush itself. I like the fact that in pricing, these are 1/3 of what a MAC brush would cost you. The review wouldn't be fair if I did not give you cons, okay? And yes, they do have some cons. I just have to be all honest about it. The cons that I have are a couple of the ones that I was sent. Although they tried very hard to duplicate a MAC style brush, I give them that. But that being said, a couple of the brushes just had too much hair in them, or it wasn't dense enough for it to mimic 100% of a MAC brush, okay? That's one of the cons that I had. Another one of my cons, and forgive me for looking down because I wrote these down to make sure that I was fair in my review. They shed. A few of them, they shed like crazy. And not only did they shed, they kept on shedding. Like, you may get some brushes when you initially wash them, and I think it may be a little formula out there. I heard all kinds of stuff. I even hear the fact that you can, anyway, we're not even going to go there. That's neither here nor there. But there's certain things that you can do to brushes prior to washing them that will kind of prep them for less shedding when you go to wash them. But in my initial wash of these brushes, a few of them shedded extremely more than what they should have. And it kept going because after the brushes dried, they still shed when I used them on my face. So I don't like brushes that shed like that. So a few of them did shed. My major concern was that a few of the darker haired ones, they bled. Yeah, tons of dye. So even the second and third time that I wash them, because again, I've had them for about a month or so now. So every week I wash and clean my brushes and things like that. So I got a lot of dye out of the dark haired bristle brushes, okay? So yeah, now that I've given you pros and cons of the company, let's talk about the ones I did like. I was sent a C.P.C. 182, and let me just give you some price comparisons. The MAC 182 is $47, whereas the C.P.C. 182 is $16. You do the math on that. I'm gonna give you comparison between MAC and C.P.C throughout this whole video, so I hope no one's offended or anything like that, but again, I have to keep it real. This particular kabuki brush, I'm a kabuki brush lover. I love them, I really do. And I don't know if it's because they're so tiny, but I love the denseness. I love the fact that you can really get in and work out your powder foundation. I don't use mine for cream. I do like to use them for my mineralized skin finish and things like that. So that's why I love this brush. But again, my only con to this brush was the fact that it did bleed when I washed it. Minimal shedding on this one. So it was a very good one in my opinion. The next brush that I was sent that I love is the C.P.C 252. And it is a large shader brush. Max 252 and this 252 are dead on. Okay, now the MAC 252 is $30. C.P.C brush is $10. So you can get this very same great dupe for $10 on their site. So this is a very good one. And I use my 252, I use this one per se to put on cream bases on my lids. I don't really apply shadows with it, even though you can. For me, this works best when I'm applying paint pots and cream liners and setting my bases down. So I like this brush for that. Next brush that I like is the 231, and it is a very, very small shader brush. And this one is very versatile in my opinion because you can use it to get in those tight corners of your face, very fine detailing of your face, as well as if you even wanted to flip it because it's synthetic fibers on the end. So it looks like a lip brush, but it's not. I mean, you could use it for that. That's what I'm saying. It's very, very versatile. But I like this brush as well. It did not shed. It did not, the fibers are not dark. So there was no dyeing or any dyes that came out of this brush. So I like this one as well. The C.P.C 134, okay? Oh, I didn't give you a price on this one. The MAC version of this small shader brush, the 231, is $17.50. On the C.P.C website is $6. So again, a great dupe for over half of the price, like 60% less on the C.P.C site. So I like that one too. The C.P.C 134. This one is by far my favorite out of, next to the kabuki that I was saying. I love this brush, and let me tell you what I use it for. You can use it to apply foundation, powder foundation. You can use it as a highlighter, even though it's kind of big. It's very big. It's huge. It's not as big as the MAC 150, but it's just as big. It's kind of, is it tapered? No, it's not tapered, but I just love it for applying mineralized skin finish or mineralized foundation. You've heard me speak of the mineralized foundation in other videos, but I like applying this with that. So that's what I use this for. It did shed just a tiny bit at first. I didn't get much shedding the second and third time, so I'm fine with that. And I did not get any shedding on my face as I apply it. So thumbs up for that one. But it does bleed when you wash it. So again, it's one of those dark hair brushes. It bleeds when you wash it, so that's touch and go. But price comparison, Max 134 is $52. This one from C.P.C, $19. So there you have that on my comparisons on my favorite ones that I was sent. Now, oops, I have one more. Okay, the Mac. Lord have mercy, I just didn't want this video to be too long, but I wanted to get out all this good information. I wanted to give you a 100% review. But anyways, the C.P.C 129 is a small version of the 134 in my opinion, these two right here. So this one, the smaller one, this 129 is more for highlighting. You can contour with this one. You could apply powder foundation, but it won't give you much area coverage. I think the 134 would be bigger for that because it just covers more surface area. But same thing, minimal shedding when I washed it the second and third time, but this one bleeds as well. So I don't know how long the bleeding of the brushes is gonna go on. I don't know. Again, I've washed them 3 or 4 times since I've had these brushes, so I've been washing them consistently. So, you know, as long as I'm washing them, I guess I can deal with that, I guess. All right, moving on to the brushes that were not quite my favorites, but I do want to shed the information on that as well. I don't know if I gave you a price on the 130, the 129. Just for price comparison, a MAC 129 is $34, but a C.P.C 129 is $12. So yeah, I can go on and on about the prices. You're gonna get what you pay for. All right. Next brush I was sent was the 187, and we know it is your dual fiber sculpt brush. The next brush I'm gonna talk about is the C.P.C 217. And we all know what the 217 is. It's a blending brush, great for blending out your shadows and getting rid of the harsh lines. All right, the reason why I didn't care for their version of this brush is because I felt that it's just too much hair in this brush. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but if they would have, it just covers a massive area, and you really can't get in there without the other hairs. Just, yeah, I feel like in comparison to what the MAC brush does, the MAC brush is more tapered, whereas this brush is just too wild, like just too much hair in this brush. So I didn't particularly care for that. Maybe for those of you who have larger eye spaces, you might love this brush, but price comparison check. For a MAC 217, it's $22.50, and for a C.P.C brush, you can get this same brush on their site for $8. So give or take there. All right, the last one I want to talk about. This one will probably be my least favorite that I was sent, and I want to tell you why. It's the C.P.C 239, and the reason why I didn't care for this brush is the fact that it had, again, too much hair on it. I think with the width of it, I think if it was maybe, it's not as dense as it should be, if that makes sense. Like, the MAC 239 is real dense for packing on color. This brush, not as dense as the MAC brush, and I didn't feel like I had a lot of control over my product with this brush. If only they could have just cut down a little bit more of the hairs to kind of give it like a more dense approach, and then otherwise this would be a dead on for the MAC dupe, but not quite. So they fell short with this one, but it's not a total fail. You still can use it. Again, if you have large eye space, you probably won't see any difference with this brush, but because my eyes are smaller, I didn't care for it with applying my eyeshadows on a daily basis. So this one was my least favorite, but again, it's still workable. You still can work with it. Now, price comparison. A MAC 239 is $24.50, $24.50. But this same version in the C.P.C brand is $9. So overall, they're cheaper brushes. They're sturdy brushes. They don't fall apart and things like that. But it all depends on how much you're willing to spend for your brushes. There are brushes out there that are way cheaper, but you have to understand you're gonna get what you pay for. So for that cheaper brush, it may not be that perfect MAC dupe, but definitely worth a try to go and look and check them out. And if you're not wanting to afford a real expensive brush and you just want to start, like for my beginners, you want to start somewhere with the brushes, why not try a cheaper brush? All right, y'all, that's my review. Thanks for watching. Bye.